Lenore, I gotta go to work. Hey guys, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. It's me, Steven. I can't show myself because I'm in uniform, but hi, welcome to my channel. You're not happy. I just pulled the car out of the garage. I'm heading back in the house so I can go out the front door. I still haven't called the garage door opener, guys, but I'll do that. Do that soon. All right, bye, honey. Oh, I love you. Mwah. I'm sorry, guys. I'm filming in such a strange angle. I cannot show you any single part of my uniform. But I wanted to say hi and let you know I'm at the airport, and I just met one of my longtime subscribers, Sky Butler. I think his real name is Oke, but he's going to teach me how to pronounce his name in person. But he flew in to LA. He works for another airline. And then he flew from LA here during his very long layover to meet me. Isn't that exciting? Me. We've got about 3 hours. He can't go through KCM, but he's getting through security pretty quickly. But we're going to have about 3 hours, 2.5 hours to hang out and have something to eat and just chat and get to know each other. It's very exciting. I always love meeting any of my subscribers, but he's special. I really enjoy him. And his cats. He has 2 cats that he loves as much as I love mine. But he is almost through security, so I will see you later. I'll ask him later on if he's willing to be popped on camera for a moment, but I will see you soon. Well, hello there. Welcome to Charlotte. This room is so warmly lit. It looks so nice and cozy. It's raining outside, so we don't have much of a view out there. Actually, I think I can't even get the... Oh. Yeah, it's kind of gross out there. Hey guys, hi, welcome to Charlotte. I don't think I had the chance to say hi, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Steven, as I usually do, but hello there, welcome to my channel. So today kind of got out of hand. I was not as prepared for today as I should have been. And I don't know if you really want to hear a whole synopsis of my day, but the plan was supposed to be that one of my subscribers, Sky Butler, if you read the comment section, he works for Swiss Air, and he had a long layover scheduled in LA. And we've been talking about trying to get together and just have a little chat, meet in person, because, I don't know, he says I helped him get the job as a flight attendant. I've just been impressed with him as a person. He's a great human being. He's also a fantastic cat dad. He knows 6 languages fluently. I mean, he's very interesting person. And so the soft plan was that he was going to come to Las Vegas from LA on his layover. I thought that was very generous of him to do that much work to meet me, you know, of all people. But I hadn't heard from him last night, so I was like, I'm not sure if he's going to be there. So I just kind of slept in. The plan was to go, I guess I'm telling you a synopsis of my day anyway. So I was going to go to my home group, and then I was going to go home and get ready for work and then make my way to the airport. Well, I woke up to an email saying that he was already here in Las Vegas. So I threw everything together, jumped into the car, and ran off to the airport and had, I'd say, 2.5 or 3 hours to hang out with, his name is Oke, I think it is. Amazing time. What a lovely, lovely man. We just had a fantastic time chatting. And it's a little weird. Because some people really think I'm like a celebrity or something, and it's when they meet me, it's like, and I'm like, I'm just me, this balding, middle-aged, paunchy gay guy. No, nothing special. But he was just so sweet and so generous and so kind. But we had a wonderful time. We went to California Pizza Kitchen and had some lunch. And I had to say goodbye about 20 minutes before my report time. I gave him a little goodbye hug and I went off to work. What a nice man. Just a very nice man. But the day was very nice. We had a great flight to Charlotte from Las Vegas. Easy flight. It felt like a red eye because it was dark out, very, very dark. But it was an afternoon flight, so everyone was awake, which is fine. It keeps us busy, gives us things to do. But there were moments of turbulence that were pretty significant. Twice where the captain actually told us to remain seated when the flight attendants have to stay seated, you all should stay seated too. But in the end, it was a quite easy flight, super simple. I was fully caffeinated and in a great mood after spending time with Ake. So I was extra special and extra attentive to our passengers today. And it seemed to work because everyone was like, oh my God, this is the best flight ever. It was just a nice day. It was a very nice day. That was it. That was my whole day. Really difficult to film anything for Vlogmas today because I was in uniform the whole day and I can't show you my uniform. But so it was very difficult to film anything. And I'm thinking, I want to post something for Vlogmas Day 9, but what do I share? What's worth your time? Because I'm not sure if the story I just shared with you is worth your time. But one of the questions I've been saving for a question and answer video is a very simple question with some really, I think, a good answer is where should you sit if you're afraid of turbulence? And this is a very common question, and one that I identify with quite closely. Before becoming a flight attendant, I was a very nervous flyer. I hated to fly. If there was any turbulence at all, I would burst into tears quietly, and I would hold onto the armrest with claws, and I would pray to a woman I don't believe in, Mary. And I would just freak out anytime we had turbulence. I just didn't understand turbulence. I didn't know, like, I was just unprepared. And before becoming a flight attendant, I had 3 weeks where I lived in Tampa. I went to Busch Gardens every day for 3 weeks, and I rode roller coasters, which I had not been on since 1977. They've changed a lot since 1977. I rode roller coasters for 3 weeks, 6 to 8 hours a day, just to get past the fear of the anxiety of not being in control, and just being thrown about. And it worked. Turbulence doesn't bother me at all anymore. Well, that's a lie, because I've been through some horrible turbulence, and that has been kind of freaky, but it's very rare that I'm bothered by it. Most flight attendants feel almost rocked to sleep by turbulence. I don't understand that at all. But so the question is, where should you sit if you're afraid of turbulence? And I'll touch on a couple points in terms of where you should sit in different circumstances. But for turbulence, if you're afraid of turbulence, sit as far forward on the aircraft as you can get. Definitely, if you have to spend any extra money to select your seat, do it. It's worth it. Trust me. Because if you're in the back of the airplane and there's turbulence, you're going to be doing this. Where if you're on the front of the plane, you can hardly notice the plane's moving. So sit towards the front. Now, if you are flying with my airline, or in an Airbus, if you're able to figure out what type of aircraft you're flying. Airbus aircraft, you want to sit in like row 2 or 4. Avoid 3 at all costs. The armrests are rigid. It's very uncomfortable, and I hate row 3. But sit in row 2, 4, 5, 6. That's about as far back as I would ideally go. Any further back, you might feel a little bit more turbulence. But in general, you're going to feel less turbulence up in the very front of the aircraft. If you're going to stay awake during the flight, sit in the front row. That would be ideal. If you want to sit in the front row, the best seat in the house is going to be row 1, seats D, E, F, if there's 3 seats. If you're with my airline, there's 2 seats up there. So in D or F. Ideal. That would be row 1, row 2, seats D and F. Those are the ideal seats. You're all the way up in the front of the aircraft, so there's less turbulence. But if it's a night flight and you're going to try to close your eyes and go to sleep, there's a work light that we use as flight attendants to get stuff done up in the front to prepare for service and stuff like that. It's a light about this big. It's made of probably 200 LED lights, and it's a floodlight. It is so bright it will burn through your eyelids, and you will not be able to sleep. And if you're in the very front row, especially aircraft left, which is row seat A and C, you're going to be right in front of flight attendants. And if it's a late night flight, we're going to be talking. And passengers hate to hear flight attendants yammering away. We're just trying to do our jobs and stay awake. But, you know, if you're trying to sleep and we're like this, so ideally row 1 or 2, maybe 4, 5, maybe 6. That's about as far back as I would go if you're afraid of turbulence. Ideally, I would sit on aircraft right, which is when you're boarding on your left, sit in row 1 or 2. I would avoid row 1, aircraft left, which is on your right-hand side as you're boarding the aircraft. Have I confused you thoroughly? So that's where I would sit if you're afraid of turbulence. An aisle seat, it has its ups and downs. The upside is that you can get up whenever you want to. If the seatbelt sign is off, you can go off and pee as often as you'd like. If you have to get up and stretch your legs, you're right there in the aisle. The bad news is as people come on board, their bags are sometimes in the way. The service cart, sometimes it's coming through and it might kind of nudge your shoulder or hit your knee if your legs are out in the aisle. So there's like an upside and a downside to that. The window seat is fantastic if you're going to sleep and you're not getting up, because you can kind of lean against the fuselage and, like, you know, kind of go to sleep like this. So that's a great seat. But again, I would, if you're on an Airbus aircraft with my airline, who else flies Airbus? United, who else flies? JetBlue flies Airbus. Row 1 aircraft seats A, B, and C, or A and C. Just don't sit there at nighttime if you want to sleep. What was I going to tell you? I was going to tell you something else. Hold on, let me think about it. I remember what I was going to tell you. What is turbulence, and is it something to be afraid of? So when we experience turbulence, it can be a number of things. It can be us flying through clouds where the air density is different in patches as you move through those clouds. And so the plane does a little of this, you know. The air currents can be a little unsteady occasionally, so the plane has to kind of make up for it by doing this. It's just a kind of an uneven pocket of air. One of the things one of the analogies I make when it comes to turbulence is kind of like if you're wearing a pair of 3-inch heels, ladies. If you're wearing a heel and you're walking through the city, say New York City, you're walking across like cobblestone. If you're down in Soho, you're walking along uneven sidewalks when you're walking through Greenwich Village, for example. If you're walking across grates, subway grates across the sidewalk, there's different environments, and you have to change your attitude as you move your way down that sidewalk. It's kind of like wearing heels, but up in the air, 6 miles up in the air. We just have to change our attitude as we move our way through the environment. It's the same thing. So nothing to be afraid of. And when you do experience turbulence, you know it's doing this, the plane's doing this. The wings are moving this much. They're literally moving 2 or 3, not even 2 or 3 inches. They're moving like this much. It's just that they're moving very fast, so it feels much more traumatic and dramatic than reality. The wing is moving like this. So who's afraid of this, right? Nobody. That could go somewhere else. I'm not going to go there. So turbulence, really nothing to be afraid of. All you have to do is pay attention and follow the directions of the flight attendants and the flight crew. When they say, please stay seated, when the seatbelt sign is on, stay seated, because the pilot has that seatbelt sign on for a reason. He knows to anticipate turbulence, because the pilots talk to other planes. They talk to, not talk to other planes, they talk to the ground, who talks to other aircraft. And you can kind of hear other aircraft talking to the ground. So they'll talk about the weather and the approaching turbulence or rough air, if there's any. So when that seatbelt sign's on, it's because the pilots know there's potential for turbulence and it's not safe to be up. So stay seated. If the seatbelt sign turns off, use the lavatory, whether you have to or not, you know. So I wanted to say that. What else did I want to tell you about? There's something else that's on my mind. Hold on one sec. I remember exit row seats. Are they worth it? You know, because when you're sitting there at the gate and you hear, "Hi, if anyone wants to upgrade to an exit row seat, you know, come up and see us at the podium." Should you go up there and get an exit row seat? Now, it depends, because they say, "Oh, more leg room." That doesn't mean it's a wider seat. It's still a very rigid seat. Depending on the aircraft, the armrests between the seats might be rigid or immobile. So you're kind of like, if you're a larger person, you might be wedged into that little tiny seat. Yes, you have more leg room because there's more space between the seats there, but you're still going to be wedged into that little seat. The seat is not more comfortable. It's the same as every other seat, but you have extra leg room. So if you're tall and lean, perfect, sit in the exit row. Can anybody sit in the exit row? Every airline's probably going to have their own answer to that. You can't sit in an exit row if you're under 15 years old, or if you are responsible for a little baby. If you're, you know, if you've got a little kid or a lap dog, or if you have a lap child or a service dog or something, you really can't sit in that exit row. And there's other things. If you, for example, have a cast on your arm, if you have a broken arm, can you handle the operation of the overwing window exit if we need to use it? Can you do that? There's a whole bunch of reasons why you couldn't say, if you don't understand or speak English, you have to be able to communicate in English. There's a whole bunch of reasons. Yeah. So is the exit row worth it? If you're tall and skinny, yeah. Perfect, do it. But you are in the middle of the aircraft, so it's going to take a little longer to get off the aircraft. And in terms of turbulence, it's not really that bad, but I wouldn't sit any further back. If turbulence bothers you, if you're a frequent flyer and you travel all the time, sit anywhere in the aircraft you want. Is that it? I think that's going to be it, because I've been like, and I need to get in bed and go to sleep. So I hope that helped or answered some of your questions about turbulence, where to sit, you know, exit rows and things like that. If it's inspired any questions for you, if you'd like me to expand on anything like that, certainly drop a comment in the comment section below, and I will see you next time. All right, fly safe. Bye.